Hey guys, it's Greg from Big again, and today we're going to take a look at some networking gear that is a bit off the wall. Get it? Heh. Anyways, what I have here in my hands are two Powerline Ethernet adapters, and these let you extend your network to anywhere in your home you have a free power outlet. If you're looking for a way to get reliable networking to a hard to reach room, then these may be the solution for you. Keyword, maybe.
You smell that? It smells like a bit goblin.
So, power lining, what is it? Basically, what it does is it uses your electrical wiring in your home to send data and extend your network, much in the same manner that DSL uses existing telephone wire to send data. The frequency of power usually falls in the 50 to 60 decibel range, and then these adapters send your data along those same wires at a higher or lower frequency. It's pretty ingenious if you think about it, utilizing existing infrastructure to do something new. To put this all in perspective, though, if you're watching this video right now, and assuming you haven't downloaded it and are watching it elsewhere, then you're likely connected via wireless or hardwired in with an Ethernet cable to your router before your traffic goes on its merry way out to the internet. Those are very common ways of connecting your machines to a network, and you can think of power lining as a step between Ethernet and Wi Fi. You can usually get a faster and more reliable connection than Wi Fi, though less so than regular old Ethernet, and it's also more flexible and portable than Ethernet, though less so than Wi Fi. So it's kind of like a middle ground between the two, more or less. There are plenty of Powerline adapters on the market that have their own speed ratings, reliability, and security mechanisms to prevent random adapters from connecting into your network. The two I have right here are a pair from TP-Link, the AV600 Powerline Ethernet kit, and these only do up to about 600 megabits of bandwidth. These are on the cheaper side of adapters, going for just under $40 on Amazon, but they will definitely get the job done if you don't need gigabit or higher speeds. And TP-Link does have a newer model of these for about $60 that can get up to gigabit speeds, and also even have a pass-through power plug so you're not giving that up. Setting these up is rather simple, and thankfully TP-Link have a guide on their website for how to do so, so if you do get lost, you can refer to that. For demonstration purposes, I'm going to show this working in the same room, but you can imagine these as being in separate rooms, which is probably where you'll find the utility in all this. First, you plug one adapter into the wall, and then take an Ethernet cable and plug one end into the adapter and the other into your network. In this case, I'm connecting it to a switch that connects to the rest of my network. Then, you plug the other adapter into another outlet, take another Ethernet cable and plug that into your adapter, and then on the other end, whatever device you want to connect up to the network. At this point, you should be able to get a link, assign an IP address statically or via DHCP, and then you're off to the races. To demonstrate the effectiveness of this, I'm on my laptop that you just saw me hook up, and we're going to use the iPerf3 tool to show throughput. It's really easy to install, it is available in most major Linux distributions repositories, and can be installed with a simple apt install iPerf3 or DNF install or whatever else. What you see on the screen now up top is a shell on a server behind the switch I connected to on the other side, and on the bottom is this laptop. I just need to run iPerf3-S on the server, and you can see it's now listening on 5201, which is the default port for iPerf. Next, on my laptop, I'll run iPerf3-C, and then the IP address or host name of the server. In this case, I can put in the name Linux1, as that is my server's host name. And boom, it's running. Oddly, it's only running at about 100 megabits per second and should be getting up to around 500 to 600. Let me do some troubleshooting and I will get back to you. So it turns out I completely derped, and not only was one of the cables that I blindly grabbed a Cat5 cable that is limited to 100 megabit, I also forgot that the outlets behind the bar in my basement are on a different breaker. Anyways, I swapped out that cable and made sure I'm on the same circuit as the other adapter. Only about 100 megabits per gen. But it did jump up above 100 megabit at the start this time, so maybe I'm just being limited now by the wiring in my house. Not too bad though, since 100 megabit should certainly be enough to handle any gaming and streaming needs, unless you're doing like several 4K streams or something. Ping times weren't bad either. Comparing my laptop again to the same server, both trying to ping Google's DNS servers, the results ended up being about 3 milliseconds longer round trip time behind the Powerline connection. Now, before you get all excited and start lining your house with these things, there are some limitations with power lining that you should be aware of. The first limitation is that the power line adapters must be placed directly into wall outlets and not some sort of power squid or wall tap. This can be very annoying if you've already got a couple power strips hanging out of a wall outlet where you want to use it for power lighting, and you'll need to find a way around that. That being said, this is less of an issue with those newer TP-Link models that have a pass-through power outlet, since you just plug the adapter into the wall and then plug your power strip into the adapter. Secondly, as I showed you with the ping test, these things do have a latency disadvantage compared to a standard Ethernet cable, though it is normally still better than wireless. The electrical wires don't go directly from socket to socket where you've placed the adapters, so there can be a lot of distance to travel between the endpoints. And if you're going across breakers, you can run into trouble with interference, which will heavily slow down your traffic and even possibly make it worse than Wi Fi, which is something that I saw in my office, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Ultimately, if you're looking for the best possible performance because you're running a business or you're into highly competitive gaming or whatever, then you're likely better off spending the time and money to run Ethernet cabling or better get fiber throughout your house. Third, the more of these you place around your house, the slower these things get. There's already a lot of noise in the electrical wiring in your house, and the more of these adapters you add only worsens the signal to noise ratio and can even be disruptive depending on your setup. To be fair, I don't have another adapter here to test this with, unfortunately, so this might not be true anymore. You'll just have to do some research if you plan on using a bunch of these yourself. And if you do know that this is no longer an issue, then please let me know in the comment section below. Now, as for my personal experience when using Powerline adapters, what I demonstrated a moment ago was, eventually speaking, the best case scenario in which these things were on the same circuit and not interfered with by any breakers or anything else, and were relatively close, physically speaking. And the results showed that the connection was pretty good, even if not up to the rated 600 megabits per second, which again may be due to some other factors. In the past, I have used some Powerline adapters years ago when I was at my parents' house with some pretty good results. But the way the power in their house was run thankfully had an outlet in my bedroom on the same circuit as an outlet near where the router was 2 floors down, which may not be the case if that's what you're going to do. However, your mileage will vary depending on your house, and for a more up-to-date experience, recently I tried using these in my new house. Since each room was run with its own breaker, trying to get connections across rooms, or from the basement up to my office up 3 floors, as I was trying to do, just did not work well, with ping times varying wildly from a few milliseconds to several seconds, and the bandwidth and just overall reliability of the connection weren't great as a result. Just to be 100% clear with you guys and show you some actual data, I ran a couple tests in other rooms in my house to give you all, like actual, numbers to look at. In the living room, up 2 floors from the original connection, had about a 65 megabits per second bandwidth, which isn't too bad, but you can see the speeds varying a little bit as the test goes on. And then in my office, I was getting some pretty craptastic speeds, and they were all over the place. You could even see it started around 20 megabits per second, and then dropped to about 40% of that speed at about 8 megabits per second. Not great. Now, to wrap things up a little bit, what do I think of these things? Simply put, these can be good. You'll just need to do some research and possibly some trial and error to see if these things will really work for you. As always, you need to use the right tools for the job, and while these may not be applicable for everyone or even most people, I can see them being used for, say, getting networking to a hard to reach bedroom to stream some shows, or maybe get some better networking to a home lab like I used to do if your house is conducive to such an effort. Basically, what I'm thinking of is anything that isn't mission critical and can stand to lose some latency and or bandwidth. If that's not true for you, then you may want to look into some other way of extending your network if Wi-Fi just is not cutting it for you. Like Mocha adapters, which is what I ended up doing for my office and has been working just fine. Or maybe you just simply need to drop the money and time into running Ethernet cabling through your house if you want the best connection possible. It's really not all that expensive anymore since Cat6 cabling has gotten really cheap in recent years and will serve you perfectly fine even when 10 gigabit networking becomes a lot more common in homes. But now, I'm curious to know what you all think of this. Do you use Powerline adapters yourself, or do you absolutely hate them and want them all to die in a fire? Let me know in the comment section below, and also let me know of other networking topics you'd like me to hit in the future. If you liked or disliked the video, then you know what to do. But if you did like it, then please also get subscribed and hit the bell icon so you don't miss my future videos just like this one. Feel free to hit up my Discord server and join the community. We are slowly growing and are glad to help out anyone that needs it or just to chat with anyone that wants to, hit us up. I hope you all have a good day, and I will catch you in the next one.